Hello and welcome to another video from Alberta Bushcrafter. This is another one on our series of gear maintenance, and this is, I'm going to start right off by saying this is not a tool for everybody. This is something I picked up at Cabela's because I got some Cabela's gift cards for Christmas, and yeah, they didn't have a couple of things I wanted in stock. It had actually been clearance and discontinued, so I'm walking out of the store, and what do I see? Yeah, this is the WorkSharp knife and tool sharpener Ken Onion edition. Now the reason I got this one is I actually didn't like the basic green plastic WorkSharp tool. Because, you know, for one thing it was green plastic, but the other big thing, it was not adjustable at all, really. It had one angle and you had to fiddle with it and whatever. So here is the tool. Yeah, I consider this an unboxing. But this is the WorkSharp. So you've got basically your power cord here. There's a trigger with adjustable speed and a lock button right there. The main thing, however, is this blade guide. So as you can see here, there's a little belt right there. And yeah, no duh, that's the motor. So the neat thing is, there's an adjustment guide here, and you got everything from about 17 degrees to, well, 30. Well, actually it says 15 to 30 here, which is nice. Looks like it's got some stops in between. Yeah, so it looks like 2.5 degree stops. Neat thing is, these belts are great. They last a long time. Actually, already I've hit a bit of a snag. That's even getting the tool out of the box. If you take a look at this, on the bottom there's a couple of WorkShop, well, basically workbench mounts, and they are screwed in there something fierce. So this thing, you can't even rip off the cardboard around it. Okay, that took a few moments. Those bolts are on there pretty good. One thing, first point about these, with the workbench bolts, that's a metal bolt with a plastic head. Be careful. You could torque them off. I didn't, fortunately. Second note is these TNT cases are really good. This weighs a couple of pounds though, because I got a lot of metal tools in here. Not something you want to carry in your pack if you're an ultralighter. But I know the D over at Multi-Tool School has one of these in ACU pattern, so it's nice. His is probably a lot heavier than mine though, because he's got all those Leatherman tools and everything else in it. We'll do another video on this another day. So here is the WorkSharp. I'm going to read the directions as I always do. I don't want to bork up one of my knives and turn it into, well, garbage. I have done that with one knife. It took a long time to regrind the edge. But that was the combination of using a crummy stone and, well, not as much attention as it was due. So we'll get this plugged in and get it running. Close up here, show you how it works. One other thing I've actually noticed with these before I even get fired up is these little belts, they all come in different grits, can sometimes be tough to tell what they are. The other thing is, take a look at the belt here. Make sure you've got the side with the tape. You can see that little red bit of tape there. That goes inside. I've actually heard of people having trouble with this, and they reverse the belt and you got the tape outside, and it's not really sharpening anything at that point in time. But it takes a little bit. You got to read the manual and see, because the numbers in the manual don't always match up with the actual belts. And you can usually feel, this is a fine grit, this is a medium. The one I've got is the coarse. The 6000 grit one, there's hardly any feel to it at all. Then of course there's a big red one. That's your extra coarse. I would save that for regrinding, like totally reprofiling a blade. So that's just another thought. Quick start guide for the knife I want to use says 22.5 degrees. Okay, after a bit more reading the directions and fussing with it, let's see, I've managed to remove the belt. This is going to be a comedy of errors, folks. It's going to remind me to keep my damn wallet in my damn pocket when I'm shopping for gear. So this is an interesting tool in that I managed to separate the entire belt assembly from the motor unit and learn how to put it back on. I have also discovered how to release the belt, which is always good because you've got 5 of them. But I wasn't going to do that on camera because I think some of the words I might have said would not have been safe for some tender ears. So, before we even get sharpening, we'll show you how to replace a belt. So here it is. You see the belt here. Start with the top. You wind it around the rear pulley, and then you just push this lever up. And this will let you, it doesn't even matter what order it goes in as long as it goes through the right slots. So again, there's the belt release. You push that to put the belt in, and the belt is now on. So I would say first things first is you need to know what side your knife is sharpened on. So that would be, actually, you can see there's a guide here, and that's where all this hardware gets in the way. So you sharpen from the other side. And the way it works is you pull it slowly on this one while it's running, you stop the tool while the tip is on the belt, and then you just go to the other side for this, and then so many strokes. Quick start guide says on this one 8 to 10. So we'll see how this actually works. Okay, we're ready. So the other thing is you've got a blade guide here. I like to use that if it will cooperate. So you pull that out, lock it in. That doesn't work for all stuff. It works better for knives that do not have the full edge. But let's do this. Throws out quite a bit of dust, and you do want to be going at a slower speed, so notice again I'm stopping with the tip on the belt. The reason you do want to start with a tip off the belt, I've just discovered, which I don't talk about in the book, is because that's actually starting to get a nice edge there, is because it actually kicks out a lot of dust when you don't. So I'm not going to bore everybody with doing another 6 strokes per side. We'll just come back when we're ready to do the next belt. Okay, I figured while I was at it, I may as well get this El Cheapo Winchester blade out. So I'll show you again how it works. So you want to make sure the knife is backed right up into that guide. And this one's good because we've actually got a bit of blade on the bottom here that we don't need to worry about. So that little guide roller is good. I start here. And they say 1 inch per second. So let's go a little slower. And then 2 on this side. And as you can see, even on the course, that's put not a bad little working edge on it. Which will just be a minute here. Probably do this while I'm talking. So you reach around, and off comes the course belt. That seems to be in pretty good shape. Well, the guide says 8 to 10 passes on all these. So in this case, I found that the blade guide was interfering, or so the roller was interfering with the Mora, because that edge goes right to the edge of the finger guard there. You got to be careful because it wants to slip down. You got to somehow keep it right on there. Bit of a learning curve with this thing. No, I'm going to drop that down. So again, you do so many strokes as the guide suggests. Always stopping with the tip on the belt. And I guess I need the little training wheels here. The other thing you got to remember is, gotta do the motor the same speed. Yeah, the motor's got to be the same speed on each side, or it's not taking off the same amount of material. This is starting to get what is looking like a wicked good edge. You can see it shining there in the light. And it's the same on both sides. No nicks or anything in this. It looks like a very solid sharpener. So we're going to continue. So somewhere in this knife sharpening frenzy, decided to take the construction knife, and I took out my old Mora knife as well because it could use one, and this Winchester. These two, on the other hand, this is my Ruko with a Mora blade and the Swedish fire knife. These don't need it. These are actually sharpened on the Lansky system with the hone and everything, and they're extremely sharp. I'm not gonna mess that up. Anyways, we're into our third set of strokes here. And we're now on the fine blade, or fine belt. There's hardly any grit to that at all, so it's very fine. Always recommend wearing eye protection with these. And it says you don't want to over rev the engine, or motor rather, either. Like that's a bit too fast. But now that I did it that fast, I got to do it on the other side, same speed. Well, that's pretty good. That's putting quite a nice edge on this. Alright, so we've put all these knives through the fine. So we've gone from coarse, fine, coarse, medium, fine, and ultra fine. And as you can see there, well, this is not so great, but you can see the edge on this is turning out really good. Just where the light catches it there. Getting quite sharp. You can see it best on this Winchester. That is a solid edge. That's all one good edge. Let's see if we can get the light a little better here. Yeah, you can see that that's a consistent edge all the way up the blade. And that's really good. So now, the last bit is you just put on the finest one, which is really a hone. Now, the other reason you don't want to go too fast, and I have done this with woodworking tools, is if you get the belt going too fast, it'll actually heat up the blade to the point where it loses its temper. You don't want to do that. The other thing is you want the weight of the blade to rest against the guide. You don't want to push too hard. You want to literally let the weight of the blade do all the work. Now, this is never a problem with these bigger guys. The smaller ones, it takes a bit of finesse, but the funny thing is the learning curve is great on this thing. You develop a certain rhythm, which is why I didn't record this whole thing. Because, yeah, you get into a certain rhythm. It's easy to make mistakes sometimes with that, but it's also, you get a feel. You get more of an intimate feel with your knife blade as well. So we shall see how good this turns out, because I'm used to the Lansky system and I can get stuff sharp enough to shave with. I'm not going to shave for you on camera, however. Okay, so we've actually done some comparison. I've got a whole bunch of shaved paper here. So, the WorkSharp Kin Onion tool sharpener. Much better than the original one. I like the movable guides and everything. Very, very versatile sharpener. Big question is this as good? And will this get an incredibly fine razor edge on a blade? Well, you don't necessarily need a razor edge on every blade you've got in the first place. In fact, some edges can get a little too thin, and I've seen people roll them over on heavier knives like the Kershaw. I've actually seen them bend the whole edge over like that when they're batoning. So for certain, well, I'd say for certain tasks, you don't need it as sharp. I guess it would also depend though, because in some cases it's the angle of the blade that's going to make it roll. So for heavier duty knives, you'll often want a slightly wider angle of the blade. This was at 22.5 I cut these at, or sharpened them at, and well, in comparison, a straight razor is 17 very often. 15 to 17 I've seen in some cases. So that's really, really scary. Well, let's compare quickly. The best edge I got was on this Winchester El Cheapo $25 hunting knife. And I still think it's kind of fun. Yeah, so it cuts pretty well. So that's the best edge I got with a WorkSharp on this. I gotta watch this thing. Not the best knife. I bought this for farting around with in the bush and so on. This was the one I was going to get, well, until I decided on the Kershaw. By the way, the Kershaw was not part of this demonstration. I want to check things out with that first before I go sharpen it on this. It'll happen. By comparison though, like I said, this is my sharpest blade in the toolkit, and that's very sharp. This was sharpened at a 20-degree angle, and it's my Mora carbon steel, my old Mora carbon steel blade by Ruco. There you go. I can shave hair off my arm with this, which is unbelievably sharp for most people. So is this the ultimate sharpening tool? No. I will say the Lansky sharpening system, the Deluxe, and even a really, really good Japanese Waterstone and strop combination will do a better job, and in some cases a scary job. But they also take a lot longer to do. Waterstones take a super long time to get anything sharpened the way you want. The Lansky system is faster, but still takes about 4 times as long to sharpen a blade as this thing does. And very quick learning curve on this. I do like the guides. And it's a nice tool. So if you've got the money, it might be worth something. If you've got a very big knife collection, it's handy to have. If you don't, but you really want to get a good edge on your knives, get a Lansky Deluxe, which I'll do another video on one of these days. So that's been it. This is a great little unboxing. I'm going to have fun with this tool. That's all that really matters to me. But I hope you guys, if you come across one for a good cheap price, you might consider it, like I said before, if you have a lot of knives and stuff. Anyways, that's it for this video. This is the Alberta Bushcrafter channel. I want to thanks for your patience and bearing with me on this, because this was a bit of a bumpy learning curve. So thanks again for watching. Take care and good day.